cabinets and stuff like that. It just makes life easier. We'll go over edging and stuff too, but there's ways to make it really easy to overlap and do edging without having to do it by hand.
I use a 15-inch machine with a 17-inch drive plate too to get under choking, but you really have to have a lot of confidence in your ability to run a floor machine because there's no guard.
Well,
piece of steel will.
This is the other machine I use. I actually got both of these machines from Ted. The problem with this is now you have a steel 35-pound plate that's going to rip through the wall. So this one I actually use. I use it like this quite a bit, but I use this one. I have a 13-inch plate that I use for tug netting.
Yeah.
Some machines you can take the shrouds off. You can take the shroud off. Some machines you can't. That's what we do. It just depends on what you have. I just refinished the marble floor with RV. I use that. So, and this I used to contract 13-inch footprint. The same exact footprint as that machine. To be honest, I'd rather have that machine. It's a lot easier to maneuver around. When the customer walks in and they have a floor machine up on the contact with a kitchen countertop, they don't get really excited. They refinish the 80-portion limestone bar with this machine and add it up to here. And the customer was like, is that how you're supposed to be doing it? This, yes, but it's not. It's probably your least ideal machine to do stairs, but it's a really good way to do stairs. You guys have you're doing a lot of stairs. I mean, you have to do stairs on a regular basis. What's the stair?
We have there's a couple machines that are like designed for stairs. One's called the Mini Legend. It's basically got a 6-inch drive plate on it. It's got adjustable wheels, so you have the wheels sitting on one stair, and then you got your level, and you got the machine sitting on on the stair above it, so it's just running over it.
It's actually it's designed for stairs.
So it's one of those things where if it's something that you're doing every day, and something like that's worth the investment, but if it's something that you're not doing, a couple times a year, either use an angle grinder or they make like 11-inch drive plates, which are probably a little bit more ideal for stairs than the 13-inch, because the 13-inch is going to hang over a little bit, so that 11-inch will fit exactly.
I did some legends where I was, they were about 10 or 11 inches wide, and I had the ledge of stone was like this. So I was walking along the ledge and I was pushing the machine forward and back instead of like swinging it, and I had to keep it in the limestone and grab the machine wants to go, so I had to keep it in a straight line. It was like, if I go off this way, I'm in the living room. If I go off this way, I know a bunch of river rocks that were embedded in the floor. It was kind of hairy, but
we also made a smaller version of that countertop machine with an 11-inch footprint, so that would fit perfectly on it. I have that option.
So this is your standard, what we just call a weighted drive plate. It's essential for doing diamond retention quality. You've got to have additional weight, and you don't want to stack all your weight on top of the machine. This is 35 pounds. Most of the time, I'll do polishing for light refinishing or fabricating with just this plate. But then you have 25-pound horseshoe weight. The machine weight is off 95 or 100 pounds.
Yeah, around 100 pounds. No pro machine. You say you had a pro? Yeah, my
These fit on there really nicely. 25 pounds each. And if you're grinding with a swing machine, you want to have 2 or 3 more weights on there to really stack it up with the downward pressure. I have another machine I haven't used in a while, but it's 150 pounds, and then I put the weight on top and 30 5-pound grinding blade. When you're grinding with a swing machine, you want to have a lot of weight on top of it. It's very slow speed. You want a lot of downward pressure. Yeah, like grinding vintage way, like flattening a form. If you're doing light grinding, like to get rid of the texture on the straws on the floor, the plate and one weight would be fine.
Most Verizon is actually pretty soft. You probably use a 50-year resin. Yeah.
Kind of depends on whether it's cement based and epoxy based.
These diamonds, the ones, those rigid sharp ones, those would be good rubber for rubber to even out the.
They're real good. The trouble is, sometimes those steel separator little slabs, they'll be slightly raised because form movement, and they'll just rip the diamonds apart. So you want to make sure before you go in there, stay away from those or where they are. If they're a little higher, you got to make sure they're going on.
There's some of them like copper or brown.
Yeah, I did it. Some of them are stainless steel too. I did a
The copper walls, if you can run the metals over.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, they'll cut, yeah. They'll cut no matter what. All of them will. It's just you wanna take it down you wanna take the floor down that far.
We actually have some over here. We inlaid. We did all this. My dad's fabrication company. This is his business. But these are stainless steel strips that we use. We did all the St. John stores in the country. We ship material all over the country into like North Korea and stuff, or South Korea. And we actually inlay those in the stone. And that's pretty much the same thing. They're just stainless steel strips that they put in the stone.
How do you work around, like we just did at Terrazzo Ford, we had a bunch of stainless steel lettering. And I ended up, we did the whole floor over the lettering, and I went back over the letters and got them back to the original color,
Patina.
so that, so they would stand out. Do you
It's
usually
probably the
just
best way.
ignore it, or?
No, if you're using resin diamonds, a lot of the concrete guys, if they do a scribe, if they do a color, and they want to protect it from the next day, they'll actually put a coating over it. They put a urethane over it, they let it cure, and then they go back over it with resin diamonds. Your resin diamonds really aren't going to cut the urethane. You'll have to strip it off after. You can paint the urethane on, let it cure, and then go over it with resin diamonds. You can't use metals. Metals will take it right off.
What about that abrasion resistant tape? Could you do something like that? Or
You
is
know,
that gonna-
I don't people talk about abrasion resistant tape all the time, and it really, yeah, for me, the Modern Stone Technologies has one that you have to put on 3 days before the job, and I don't have time to do that. So,
I'll have to call Rick and
yeah, what I'll do is I'll go in and if I have to use tape or if I'm protecting a little granite square, I'll just use tape, regular duct tape. Sometimes we use packing tape, the very, very sticky packing tape because it's thinner. And I'll just go right over it. And then I'll dry it every time. Every grit, make sure they're all intact, and then just redo it. I'd rather do that than spend the time to come out 3 days before the project. Granite, you don't always go over. If there's granite squares in the floor, have you seen that before? You will once you get into the project. But they put little granite squares.
This tile's right here.
And you don't necessarily need to go over the granite because it's always shiny. You have 500 square feet of travertine and 30 granite tiles. Just take them off and go there. Work up to the polish.
I have one job coming up where it's.
Yeah, it works out. I rarely even have to go around with my hand. Just work up to them, and then sometimes I'll even go over them with an 1800.
Yeah.
And call it.
I have one job with this travertine. Black granite inlays like that. 2 triangles facing each other.
That's awesome.
I'm just gonna go right over.
Just recently I had a job where the lady had black squares on every tile, and then she had these little brass inlays on every tile, so I couldn't polish.
Yeah, we installed one like that with
Little brass,
2-meter open, and
Yeah.
they did 3-inch squares, and I told my dad, I said, they're gonna call us to refinish this floor, guarantee it. Have them set it like a 16th below the surface. And they didn't do it. And somebody came in, the plumber, and scratched the floor, and he wanted me to dive in to finish the floor, and I'm like, oh, guys, it's gonna take me an entire day to do the finish 4 feet. Like,
As we were on the subject of tape,
yes.
do you know a tape that is, very water resistant? Like say if you're gonna do floor and there's a carpet
Okay.
right next to it, why use duct tape? I actually did a Christian Dior store.
Okay.
They have $50,000 silk carpet. So
Yeah,
we
I've
actually
done stuff up
with
against that.
the water see-through plastic, and we use a sticky plastic, it's made and it sticks to the carpet. And we use duct tape, but it still seep through. So it like goes about 2 inches there, that's the whole carpet.
What
Yeah.
I do is,
You gotta go a little bit under the stone.
quarter inch. I put,
Depends on your floor,
I take blue painter's tape for delicate surfaces, and put that on the carpet first, because that won't pull the fibers out, take it out. And then what I do is
Or leave it right there.
say like this is a carpet right here, right? Say like this is a carpet. I'll take the duct tape and lightly put it over, and then I actually keep a credit card that doesn't work anymore, and I'll push it down like in there, but a little bit better. And what it does is it creates a little trough to like catch the water, and then I actually the tape would actually be over here. So you push it down in all the way in the joint, but you're folding it over like this. So if the water does get in there, it sits in this little trough and doesn't catch the carpet. You're basically creating a barrier. Yeah, then you can just vacuum along this and it'll suck it right up out of there. So what I do is I have my helper when I'm refinishing up against carpet, is I have them hit the, like as soon as I'm done right there, I have them suck it up.
Oh, okay.
And I've been up against silk carpet, that is like a $90,000 carpeted room. And ground flat right up against it, actually with the same marble. And another thing I've done too is I go to Ace Hardware and get the really cheap aluminum thresholds and shove it down in between, and I'll force fit it in there, and I'll wrap it in tape so it's real firm fit, and I'll actually do this so I can run my machine right up against here and never touch the carpet, and it creates like a solid barrier, so if you go a little bit too far, it stops it and hits it.
Okay.
So you just keep moving your threshold?
Yeah. Well, I do it across. I'll cut them down to fit the entire doorway. Or if you have like a whole room, then you just line them up.
And put your plastic vertical, you want to find something to put your plastic on so the water runs down onto the floor.
Yeah.
As opposed to just sits there on the plastic.
I actually use like for this, I'll put a canvas drop cloth, like a painter's drop cloth, and treat it with Scotchgard, and I'll tape it down here. So instead of plastic, there'll be plastic under it, but the Scotchgard, so you can actually like vacuum up the towels and stuff. But I don't ever put duct tape directly on the carpet, because you'll pull fibers out. Sometimes it'll pull it up from the tack, and then you're stuck trying to tack the carpet back down.
Watch that sticky plastic. We were in a house and we didn't do it with people before, so they had actual gold painted into the carpet.
Oh.
And they put sticky plastic down, and when they pulled it up, they pulled up all the gold, so they had to replace all
Some
the
people
carpet.
buy dumb shit.
Yeah.
I had one lady who spent, I think, $65,000 on the wallpaper just to get it in the house, and it wasn't even installed. There's no baseboards or nothing. And we had to grind up against the floor and or up against the wall, and you have to figure out how to protect something, get all the way to the wall so it's all even, and not touch the silk sparkly stuff that's on the wall. It's like, nobody puts any thought
when they're installing stuff or putting stuff together into what's gonna happen when somebody has to come and maintain it. So,
You put duct tape on carpet, you leave, and a week later, all the residue right there. And they call you up and say, I have a line where your tape was. Now you gotta clean the carpet. That's something to do.
That happened to you?
No, but I've come behind painters who's happened.
A friend told him.
I clean up other people's stuff.
yeah, we'll do, I figure we could do later. Yeah, what we can do later, that's the Clemstone that Ted turned me on to that stuff. It's very, it can get you in a lot of trouble if you're not careful. But I use it to clean travertine, limestone, marble, stuff like that.
I use it 3 times a week. It's probably the best cleaner I've ever used.
It's a cleaner, but it's ammonium bifluoride. It'll etch granite, glass, porcelain, ceramic, metal.
Or edge porcelain?
Yes, it'll etch toilets, porcelain tile, especially the nice finished porcelain tile. You use that on there.
You'll hone it. Nice
yeah.
hone finish.
That's good to know, actually.
And it actually won't. It's not like it doesn't leave like an even home. If you walk in it,
Oh, really?
even if you dilute the shit out of it, if you walk in it, it'll leave your footprints in it. Like etched
Really?
in. Yeah, it's. So it's kind of a.
What do you use it for?
For cleaning marble. It won't etch marble. Or travertine or limestone. Doesn't make any sense.
It pulls the dirt out of
Yes, yeah.
or out of travertine.
What we can do
A lot of
later
people have
is
trouble getting the little black pores.
Yeah.
Pulls it right out.
Really?
we'll hone what we do is we could hose down some of the concrete and groom it so it's clean.
Yeah.
And then put some of that on it and scrub it, see how much crap comes out of it. It's freaking crazy. So, figure what we can do right now is like do the travertine real quick and so we're gonna, I figure we'll start with the easiest process first. Like the most entry level stuff. No, I was gonna just hone it real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll, you know what, we'll just start grinding right away. We'll hone it real quick and then we'll just start grinding right away.
Want the brush?
Yeah, please. So if you look, it's all crusty. It just looks kind of, it's got glare and some tooling marks from the factory. That's just how it is. This is a floor, this is what floors look like when they're installed by most of the They cleaned it up with a sponge really well, but it still leaves like a haze. So,
It's a brick brush.
let's see what it does by itself.
Also, let's show them the blue side.
Let's do the blue side first. Now, when you're honing, I honestly don't even bother cleaning it because it doesn't matter. You're honing it. If I was going to polish this right now, I'd scrub it with a soft, I have one that's actually. Yeah. Clean it with a soft brush and then hone it, because you don't want any debris or anything on it while you're trying to polish it. So, this is a 3M pad. It's an aqua pad or a green pad. It's a pretty aggressive, but leaves a nice finish. It's a really quick, easy way to hone a floor or even out a floor or get rid of damage to create a starting point for time when you're finishing and stuff.
Those are good to clean it up with.
Yeah, but it'll actually take the shine down significantly. So,
If we're trying to keep polish on there, it's not a good idea.
this will destroy the polish. It's actually, it's equivalent to probably like a 220 diamond. I mean, as far as the finish at least.
Sometimes we use it to remove the picture framing. So if you have somebody in this tiles and you're polishing, you get it to a 220 home, you can use a green pad and then bring it up.
So that'll come up with
It will.
Take a look at this angle here of this travertine. This is what a lot of homeowners see when it's bright outside or the lights are on. They just see glare and marks and it just kind of doesn't look all that great. So,
this is not a starting point. Where it's to help you while you're in the process. Okay, you want to start with diamonds. The most important thing to remember is that diamonds are going to always leave you consistent finish. 220 is always going to be 220. You know that from the finish itself. This is not going to leave you. If you start with this, eventually it's going to break down and it's going to become more smooth. It's just like sandpaper. And so you start from one end and you move to the other. If that's what you're starting with, you wouldn't have the same scratch pattern.
What you would want to do is find stuff like this, like pin set. Because what happens is if you find this afterwards and scrape it off, you have untouched surface underneath. So it'll be like a weird spot, like a shiny spot.
Is that where you want to put the box pattern?
Yeah, you just take your knife and stab it into the floor. You also don't want to do that. You scrape it up with a flat edge. This pad actually grabs pretty well. I don't use a lot of weight with it. You can actually use not even a weighted bed, but just a normal belt roller. Yeah, just I have the case up there.
I think it's 200. It's considered a blue pad, but I call it an aqua pad. Similar, yeah. It's more between a 220 and a 400. On the home.
Right. You're just spreading the water out, but you'll see. It's actually starting to generate a slurry already. It's cutting the stone. Now, what you want to do is every floor is going to be different. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. I prefer to use a little bit less weight to make it easier to swing across the floor. But do a small section about this, about 30 square feet, and dry it and check it. And make sure you don't have any picture framing. If you have picture framing, you can add weight on it and it'll push it down into the drawing floor. I just want to do this real quick to show you guys how easy it is to change the finish. And what this really comes in handy too, if the installers leave grout haze or sealer haze all over the floor, this will take it right off and leave a really nice home finish. You know, if the customer is unhappy with what they're installing to, you can come in and be a hero quickly, make some money, and then have a customer for the future.
So would you go from there to bring polish back?
If I were planning on polishing this floor, I would, I wouldn't use this pad. I would actually just go with like 220 to 400
Can you
diamonds.
send me a picture of that?
To cut everything off and then go from there.
This is if you're gonna leave this type of
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. This is actually if you want to. This is the finish that you want. Down the hall, second one on the right.
So what do you,
So, I use, this is a, I got this carpet cleaning, this is a carpet cleaning. And this is a, same thing, $60 squeegee attachment, S1. And what I do is I just wrap a bunch of duct tape around the other side. I don't use the rigid stuff, it's plastic. Breaks the first hour you use it. But the vacuum works great, it's just a motor.
So you just gotta find,
You can feel how soft it is though. I mean, it really, there's crust and stuff that's on there from grouting, from transportation, manufacturing, stuff like that. And now this is typically what a lot of my customers like. Probably about 3/4 of my customers will actually opt for this because it's easier to maintain. And it's just soft to the touch. When you're walking on it in your socks, it feels like it's soft, that's a nice, what you can do also, if you notice, like when it's wet, it's a lot darker, you can color enhance the floor, or it's sealed it, but with an enhancer, and that'll leave the color enriching. It really make a big difference, so. What I would do after this is just give it a quick scrub of this, a soft brush, get any residue out of the joints, or just infuse.
Did you do that by hand or you got one for the machine?
Oh yeah, just put the nylon brush on the machine and just do a quick pass.
Cleaner. You said to enhance the color, you use an enhancer seam?
Yeah, like I have a couple of them here. This is we can use some too. We'll do some sealing and stuff. This is dry treat. This is kind of overkill, but this is a color enhancer desert blend, which is made for exterior. Like it's a UV stable color enhancer you can use outside. But I also have a regular one that's called just CE. It's an interior color enhancer.
On the dry treat, do you have to be certified by them to be able to
You don't-
use this product?
I don't think you have to be certified to use it. You have to be certified to grant a warranty.
Okay,
But
so you can't.
from
order it
every
from them?
single person that I know that has tried to get dry treat to honor the warranty hasn't been able to. So that's why.
They only provide product, they don't do the.
I've got a copy of the warranty. if you want.
It's
Basically says, I'm a credit advocate for them. Basically it says, if
your
they get,
fault.
if you get a stain, whenever the stain gets rectified, they'll supply product to reseal it. That's all it says. They're not gonna pay me
Yeah.
to come back and voltage the stain or remove the stain. So and I'm upfront with my customers, I don't sell it because of the warranty. I sell it because it really works, it's good stuff. The warranty is,
Oh, never mind.
you know, I mentioned, I said, I'll send it to you if you want. It's not bulletproof, and I'm very upfront about that.
Yeah, well, that's what we tell them about any seal. Don't let anybody fool you, there's no bulletproof seal.
Everybody that I have talked to that has tried to get the warranty honored, basically they said operator error. Like there's no way our sealer could have failed. I'm not trying to put down dry treat. Their products are really good. It's just the warranty is it's just a kind of a.
It's empty, there's not much to it.
I use a lot of Proteco products. They back up their product pretty well. They, Getty Center down in LA has 3 million square feet of travertine. They guarantee their product for 10 years. So any stains that come out, they do it, they pay us, they pay somebody else. So Proteco makes a really good sealer.
There's that other way. With the brush, you actually want to use a good amount of weight because you want it to push down. Sure. What it'll do, the brush will actually get down into the lower areas, like the pad. Sometimes if you need to, you can kind of tweak the machine a little bit to get a little bit more pressure. But on this brush, if you turn it too much to do the drop joint, you can actually get a really dull line down the joint. This takes a little bit longer than the green pad. But still does a really good job. But one of the downsides that between a brush and a pad, as you can see, some of this grout's coming out. If the grouting isn't done well, it can actually take some grout out, which isn't a big deal. You can just repair the grout. But if you're on a second story or a wood structure, you don't want water getting down inside under the tile. You don't want it to do that on concrete either, but it's not as big of a deal. To do anything dry, you have to have a lot of, you gotta have a good vacuum, but I don't really do anything dry. There's a guy in Australia that's doing travertine and limestone grinding dry, and he's using a concrete dust vacuum.
Yeah, you need a pretty heavy duty vacuum.
Which actually, I think that's awesome to do limestone dry. I think it's really cool.
In Europe, where all our product is made, they're passing laws in all the little municipalities. You can't dump your slurry into the sewer system because it's jacking up all the plumbing and all these buildings that are hundreds of years old. So they're starting to develop ways to grind granite and marble to dry. And you have to have a good vacuum because otherwise you're going to lose silicon dust everywhere. Especially tires like if you're grinding granite. There's a guy in my area who does hardwood flooring. He's got a truck mounted vacuum system in the trailer. He's kind of 50 grand. But it gets 99.9% of all the dust that he's refinished the hardwood floor out of the house. And he's it's a $50,000 truck mounted. That's to go along with your other nice truck mounted cleans and stuff you got in Yeah, so it's totally different.
And the SB sealer. We don't have any SB sealer at all.
One guy knows.
Will actually add a lot of lighter texture to the stone. And it actually is really nice. It kind of gives you a softer feel. So it's not flush at all. Actually, probably didn't bring it here. The more you work it, the more you'll get. But this is gonna concrete dries better dry. I mean, this is so dry. So the progression you want, are you like recommending this after using a pad or? No, I'm just showing the different ways to hone the floor. Could be like an alternative? Yeah, it's an alternative to the pad.
Most travertine.
Nice home, huh?
Yeah. You know, it's really funny because I just did a bid for a job to polish the floor and it has resin fill in it. Best travertine you can possibly get comes from Mexico. They fill it with resin. They fill it with intense resin.
Same material, just different.
But sometimes, you know, the stuff that they fill it with from the factory, the way that they do it, it will shine enough to where it's not like if you fill it with grout, that looks terrible.
Yeah,
But
they're not putting that in Oklahoma. That's fine.
so there's another quick way to hone it. It's pretty much dummy proof. Just add water and use the brush and go. And this works really well for cleaning concrete, plain granite, stuff like that. So I think it's a 180 grit. You can get them in like 180 or 400. Grand Course carries them.
So if you don't use any compounds, then you don't use it?
Well, if the floor was dirty, you could actually clean and hone at the same time.
That's what I do.
Not really. Like super light surface scratches, but like if you see scratches,
And the Aquapat,
And I could just throw the cleaning agent with the water.
yeah, mop it on, let it sit for however long it's supposed to sit, and then scrub with this brush. It'll clean everything and finish at the same time. So instead of charging $1,000 to clean the floor and $1,400 to hone the floor, it's $2,400. You can do both for like, you know, $1,800 or something. Save them money and.
And that's just called a nylon brush?
It's made by Malish. It's called a Malish grip brush. There's some catalogs for the region over here. Let me see if they.
I use it,
I don't know if they have.
Now, did they actually, put the grits on here? I've got one
No,
from 3M that's, they call it Nyla Grit, and you can
That's
buy
pretty
them.
much the same
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, it looks, you know, it feels exactly like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Malish is pretty much the ones that made it famous, but.
You
Actually,
can get,
it's on-
you can get those at like a janitorial supply
Yeah,
house.
we've got a Malish, that's a curved grit.
So,
It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think Region actually sells
yeah, I used to use that to clean, of course.
the other.
Like that's how they would put it on a polished marble.
is that the Malish one
Clean
here?
the floor.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I have two of
Down
them.
the ceiling, there's a little triangle along the wall where it didn't put, so it's shiny
Yeah,
there
I've got
and
the
not
black
like.
one, it's got the treated tanks for cleaning concrete, real aggressive.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
like
I think
that's
that's
like a
good.
concrete
It was,
prep brush or something
Yeah.
like that.
I got ahead of myself for that actually.
Yeah, if you guys feel free to grab a catalog from Region, they have a bunch of diamonds and stuff in here. You get an idea what everything costs.
Polished marble floor.
It's falling apart.
Really acceptable. People like, you're right, went back to powder, diamond home, and all the whole floor, right when the wall started.
Now, if you guys notice, you lighten the stone a little bit. The lower you take the stone, the lighter it's going to be.
Is that where the enhancers come in?
Yes, exactly. If you want to get the color back, you would use. You would use an enhancer to seal it.
What kind of cleaner?
Any cleaner. I use a Bristol cleaner or something like that.
What did my dry plate go? My metal dry plate.
I also sell some. Mark with Stone Brothers here tomorrow, he's gonna bring some diamonds and cleans and, some fun classes.
No, because I have that. Oh, there.
I don't even, it might not be coming, it might just be overnight, so.
So you can see that this has a bunch of smudges and residue and stuff. Even if you clean it really well and hold it, it's going to have a little bit. So at the end of every job, I don't think Ted does this. I don't know what to do.
That's what?
Buffs the floor.
I use a truck mount, so,
Yeah. Ted's got.
I have a high pressure hot water extractor. Basically, pressure washes the floor and vacuums it.
Dry?
So it's,
dries.
you can see all the residue. All you need to do is really, this is wet, so it's spraying a little bit of water around, but
There's no residue.
you just, this is all I do the whole floor. Do like 500 to 1,000 feet, and then just flip the pad over, and it gets rid of, the problem is you have to be careful, some of these pads, if you get them wet, and you start to get wet, the dry will actually destroy the stone a little bit.
Don't use the first one.
But, the white pad is really soft, and I just,
So you don't use water with it, like.
no, you don't need to, you just buff it, like, when the floor is all dry, and there's like, you know, smudges or residue or something, this just takes it off, you just buff the floor. This is buffing.
Yeah, if you had grit or something in the ground line that you need to get out, you need to clean it, but buffing it.
This is the final, like, when I'm 100% done, I just do this quickly over the floor. This process, to me, this is buffing. Anything else ever on the planet is not buffing. So when customers ask you to buff the floor, buffing does nothing. Right? Buffing does nothing.
So it's basically just like going over with, dry.
Like after you clean a countertop down, you just take a dry cloth and buff it off. It's the same exact thing.
We'll do
Sometimes I'll hit it with a cotton bottom.
We'll the sealer, and it'll leave a little bit of edge there. And then we'll take that white pad and run over it with our stain machine or whatever machine you're using to finish the surface, and then clean everything off and let it go.
And I do this out the door. Find a plug outside, and I go through the hallways and then work my way out the door, and when I'm out the door, I don't walk back in the house. I take my shoes off, take pictures, but that's it.
After using the white pad, you don't have to vacuum it?
No, nothing. No, it's, you only do it to get up the really light, just like dust, like it'll buff, like this stuff off, and it picks it up in the pad.
So then the building will be after.
After
rinsing the-
everything, yeah, after everything, when the floor is completely dry. What do I do now? Well, Ryan needs to do like diamond finishing.
Show them how to handle the liquid,
Okay.
you know? We don't necessarily have to grind that.
Okay, the next thing is gonna be, diamond honing and polishing without grinding it flat. This is where I make most of my money, because people don't wanna pay to grind it flat. And, you don't have,
Most of the money.
yeah, this is the stuff that every company is marketing for, is this process right here, the sheet pad, the monkey pad, the whatever pad. So,
Basically refinishing without grinding.
yeah,
Handles,
this is,
we gotta do this.
this is scratch removal, etch removal, I mean, everything.
This is where those bevel pads come in.
Yeah. So this is, most of the time, a lot of the time, you can get away with starting with 400 or even 800. I'm gonna start with 220 right now, just to,
How about you know from which year to start? 2,400.
with your experience,
Or the experience?
with your experience, you'll know. If you start with 220 every time, you'll be fine. The only, sometimes you need 140, not very often, but starting with 220 is a good safe bet. If you still see scratches or something that didn't come out, you can move down to 120. But I never go below 120. Never use 50 to
So
start.
most of the time you start with 240, right?
220 most of the time. As you get more experience, you'll understand what you can do with 400 and 800. Like in one house, I did 4,000 square feet of travertine. In some areas, we just did like 220 here, here, and here. And then we did the 400 out to like here to save time, and then 800 the whole thing, and then 1,800 the whole thing, and then well. You save time because you don't have to do the 220 everywhere. But some places need it. Basically, you have to blend in everything, overlap everything.
And you go to 220, and then one area, one specific area,
Yes.
and then 220, and the rest 400.
Yeah. Now, these are foam risers. These will allow the pads, and for my first step, I always use the triple thick pads because they don't flex as much as the really thin ones. You want to set yourself up for easy overlapping, easy, edging, stuff like that. And so this is a particular process that I use. I use the triple thick with the foam risers. They'll flex. They'll get in and out of the low area. So what we're gonna do first, now here's another thing too, is if I'm doing a house, I figure out what grits I'm gonna use. If I'm using 220 through 1800, that's 4 diamond steps. I'll actually put my diamonds, I'll start here. My next step is gonna be here, the next one here, and the last one here. What that does is that allows you to ride the wall on every grid. You don't have to check or mark the lines, you just go up against the wall every time. You're overlapping by your diamond placement, and you'll get good overlapping. For this one, I'll just put them here.
So like on the Laguna, you do the same thing?
You could, yeah.
9 inch, and you just insert them on the 9 inch?
Yeah, I do it on my assignment.
Okay.
The problem with those though is the planetaries don't edge like this. With this machine, you go along the edge, you'll get a laser straight cut pattern.
with the planetaries will get us wiggly, so they're not really good. If I'm doing a big job, that 4,000 square foot job, I did all the edges with this, just went along the edges and then blasted through the middle with the planetary. So, we'll just do this brown.
That's the easiest way to do your gutter.
Yes, this is the easiest and the best way, and the safest way. Never have a problem. Now, I'll actually take like 70 metals and grind right over the wall. When you get used to it, you can do that. I'm going over this stuff kind of quick, because you guys are gonna get to use the machine. I'm not gonna make you watch me the whole time, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea, and then we'll set some of you guys up. See, if this is a wall, I'm not getting all the way to the edge of the tile. You want to be careful, obviously, you don't want to be marking the wall, but if you plastic off the.
What would you do? Poly the wall? Poly the like?
No, just make sure your machine's clean.
Yeah.
And all the walls are plastic. And usually it's not a big deal. It might ruffle the plastic a little bit, but it doesn't usually cause a big problem. If you have a particularly bad lift like this, you can actually see pieces of diamonds coming off, breaking the diamonds. That's not good. What you can do is just lighten up the weight a little bit. But this is another thing too. This is a good example of like what to look for in a house. If you see this and they want their floor to fit, but they're willing to pay for it, charge them for a set of diamonds. Because you're gonna have to replace them like that.
We'll call it a fancy ass.
So I just did a floor like this that turned out really good. Also, you can put a little bit of pressure on the side of the machine. You can go in a circular pattern around this. Make sure it's from all angles. But the clacking gets louder as you go to the higher bit. So you can hear that scratching. Like I said, these floors are probably the worst that you want to refinish in and unfortunately, this is not that far out of the ordinary. You can just check them. This is what you charge a lot of money for. It's that corner right there. Just make sure nothing's on the surface, and then you can just go right back to it. And that's why I love these diamonds. They leave a really nice finish, but they're cheap. So if you go through a set, it's not.
So this is what the poly average,
Yeah, this is the backward. If there are scratches in this floor and heavy edge marks and stuff like that,
Why don't we use 3
You get more downward pressure, so it actually starts faster.
That box.
It's always pressure. It actually increases the production. Yeah, but,
If your machine's 120 pounds, you use 6 pads, you're getting 20 pounds of pressure per pad. So you have to resolve.
what? It's good. Nice.
It looks like this looks like the kitchen ice Dolomite or the tile ice Dolomite. Except mine's worse because I have like big thick uneven grout.
Maybe not natural, maybe they're done by us, but by man, it's killing them. You're not gonna know. It's a nice home. Better built than
Yeah. See, even with the 220, the first step, you can see it actually has a good amount of clarity when you get down and look. And this is what you're looking for throughout the job. But you can also see in some of the dry areas, there's some picture frames, which will be more evident later when we
So what do you mean clarity? It's pretty dull.
well, it's all, but if you get down and look, you can actually see the reflection. But it's crystal clear. It's not blotchy or anything. Even though the level of shine isn't that great, you'll see the picture is clear.
as you increase in,
Yeah.
so the shine, actually the angle of reflection increases. So you're about 30 degrees down there. And with every grit, the angle of clarity, the angle of reflection increases until you polish it. Hopefully it's around 90 degrees, sometimes it's a little bit less. You know those, these laser, these things, they only read at 20 degrees and 60 degrees. So if you're looking at 60 degrees, you're looking basically down across the floor at a light source. And at 20 degrees, you're basically standing down there looking across the floor. So the best gauge for a shine is your eye. It's never going to be a laser. They do come in handy when you can show a customer.
So that's the impression that you gave your customer on those.
My shine puts that wave scratches on it, like spot.
Yeah, that'll probably.
Yeah. You mean circles?
Yeah, or you got like that. You can kind of see it.
You're seeing the resin.
Oh, the resin
Yeah,
sear.
that scratch pattern.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
resin
Scratch
pattern.
pattern.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes that's not just resin though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That space.
Yeah.
Is that just?
It's going to be gone with the next grid.
Yeah.
You're right. That's the scratch pattern. You're seeing the machine.
When we grind, you'll see like heavy,
Yeah.
distinct scratches.
But the idea is for each grid to remove
The next one.
Yeah.
to leave
So
one.
if that's not come out, you're not being thrown out to the next grid.
Well, if it's not coming out, but sometimes you're going to see the scratch pattern from the grid you've just done.
Right.
And think that
If it doesn't come out after the next one,
Yeah.
then
Then you gotta go back.
you go back right away because
Yeah.
when you finish and polish and you still see them, there's a little gap.
usually when you do 220, you'll see scratches that 220 couldn't remove.
Right.
And you do 120. If you're at 120, we'll see those when we do the grinding. We'll leave a little spot where we don't remove everything, and then we'll get to 400, and we'll see the little shadows and scratch patterns in the floor. We'll see that a lot.
These dark shadows here, this is the picture frame. This is why this is why you use flexible pads. Because the uneven surface, you have a fairly rigid setup. So what you're doing is you're bridging across this area. The higher the lift, the wider this is going to be. This is the reason why I use the triple fix on the first step. I don't want to get too far from the first step unless I really need to, unless it's really worn down there. Because my next one, I really want to get and overlap that scratch pattern and get in and manipulate each grit. Like I'll use one weight with the triple thick and then one weight with the thin ones for the 400, and then for the 800, I'll add another weight. So you're continuously pushing further and further into it. You don't have to do it that way. Sometimes it does help, but I always like my first grip to be a little bit not quite as aggressive as it can be. So I make sure I overlap that. Because if you get 220 strapping down into low area, like really far, it's hard to resist. Yeah, it's a big gap. You want, you want to set yourself up to make it consistent and easy to do instead of getting all gung-ho on the first step and then you realize you have to deal with it.
But you also see that we did this Aquapad previous to the diamond. The Aquapad actually left a higher hone. The darker the material, usually something that's a little bit higher hone. You could actually take a lot of these little picture prints out with the Aquapad right now, and then hit it with a 400. It did, for some reason, do it. And then it remove those picture prints with the 400.
Some people use the multi-pads, like the higher grip multi-pads, and to do that, if they haven't done the picture frame, will get it into the picture frame, then you go on your next step. Most of the, 9 out of 10 times, you can just use the diamonds and you're fine. It's very rare that I actually have to deal with that. Because this is travertine, it's easy to manipulate, like on the marble, it's actually pretty bad to lippage. There's some floors where I actually won't refinish it unless I grind it flat. Because on some floors it'll actually rip your diamond apart if you saw on that, and you're constantly chasing diamonds. By the time you get through the top of diamonds, you might as well try to just flatten the floor first and make life easy. There on occasion there's floors that you either do it or don't mess with it. It's hard when you're starting out because everybody wants to be a hero. You want to help the customer, but you can get yourself in a predicament pretty quick.
The harder materials
Are you going to take a lot longer to cut down?
push to
Let me use those new risers.
Yeah. It's used to smaller ones too.
Yours?
Yeah.
These ones?
Yeah.
I haven't actually used these, so we'll see how it is. These risers are actually pretty worn down. He's got these ones that are actually pretty cool. It has fold up over pretty well. I haven't actually used these yet, but I was actually a little disappointed with I need to replace the Velcro, but I had that Velcro on here for 2 years. When you get it from the factory, it falls off in a week. So I use, I buy a really good Velcro from Home Depot, and use contacts in it, stick it together, let it dry overnight, and then use it the next day. It's held together for years.
You can buy those Velcro pads at Home Depot, or is it just
No, it's a 2-inch Velcro or 1.5-inch Velcro strip. It's $30, but you get like a 30-foot roll. And I put contact cement over the adhesive of the Velcro and put contact cement on the plate, and I let it dry for an hour, and then I actually stick them together. And it's not, you can peel it apart after, but the shear force on it, like the linear pull on it, won't come off. The water doesn't mess with it. Notice how it's tremendously quieter now, because it's got those flexible pads on there, and they're riding up over the lipids. You get those from Stone Pro? The riser? Oh, okay. I wanna try those.
From where? Granite Tech. It's in Anaheim on Powell Street. It's Stone Tech.
It's
Parts of both that don't do
it's one word, it's granite, it's GRANITEK.
He doesn't normally stock them, so sometimes it takes a week or so to go down.
What they call?
They're called riser pads. You want the 2 inch.
But this is something different than just a normal riser pad, isn't it?
Not really. We only stock stock up on one manufacturer.
And they're only 2 inch?
They sell them 3 inches long.
But that's what you're using.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 2 inch just allows the pad to hang over and curl up over the backer, and that's how it's getting in all the.
I like it too because 2 inches on the floor, more pressure. You know? The line is actually a little more work. Reduce your the amount of passes that you do. Increases your speed. Like you go to 1 inch, I wear it.
Open the close.